Well, we were talking about the festive season, how it went. Beg your pardon. Whether it was impacted by the Nigerian environment or we created something creative. So far, I haven't heard anything creative. We just managed to. Um, Alex even had the effrontery to be unwell at that period. Now he's getting back on his feet. But let's discuss Nigeria in 2023. Let's discuss issues that have of most profound impact on the people and the government of Nigeria. What, in your view, you can also join us. I'm talking to our listeners as well as those of us in the studio. What issue, what happenstance, what event uh, will I say have the most profound effect on you concerning the sustenance and survival of this nation as we know it? Alex, will you want to build the cart?
Yeah, two incidents come to mind for me. The first one, I'm sure our political analysts and people of the All Progressive Congress may complain, but I must mention the declaration of the president on Inauguration Day, May 29, when he declared rather casually that subsidy has gone. He just said it casually off the cuff. And immediately he made that statement, there was a reaction all around the country. If you were in Lagos on that day, you will see fuel stations shutting down. Those that did not shut down, they started raising the pump price immediately. And I dare say this, that when a president has assumed office, he's different from candidate Bola Tinubu. You see, when you become president Bola Tinubu, what you say can amount to policy. So you have to
Yeah.
really be very careful about what you say in public. Now, the
Mm.
following day, I'm sure his advisors and he himself saw the damage that that statement made, and they tried to walk it back. By walking it back, they tried to retrieve it and
Yeah.
state that, okay, the subsidy may not be removed immediately. We're still
Mhm.
looking at modalities. And, in fact, the fact of the matter was that subsidy was still accounted for up to the month of June,
Boom. Yeah.
June ending. But here
Yeah.
we were in May, on May 29, you made that statement and it plunged us into crisis. And I dare say, till now, we've not recovered from that.
Yes. You're right. Yes, it was impolitic. I mean, quite unprecedented. And they, like I said, they walked back a lot, even at the point claiming it was not even his original idea. It was done by the previous government, and it was quite profound because apart from even the fuel hike and all that shut off immediately after the pronouncement, the market forces went into overdrive. Cost of things in the market shut up. I mean, people were lamenting that, oh, they were expecting so much from this man. And here we are, the first week, you are giving us something like that looks like a tornado, you know, rampaging across the country. And people were overwhelmed. I'm sorry, my voice was off the air. I was lamenting about the impact of President Bola Tinubu's rather unpresidential statement in the first day of his ascension. And it gave us like a bazooka punch that was felt all over the country. And the market prices shot up. Everything went haywire. And people that were expectant that this man will wave some kind of magic wand and things will happen. Knowing, I mean, what they have played up about his Lagos miracle work and all sorts, and how he's a fantastic accountant, wonderful economic wizard, and all that. There was so much expectancy of something happening much better than the man we talk about, you know, and suddenly it was like, wow, this is even worse, you know. So that was a profound moment in the nation. Yes. Let me ask you, Sife, in case you would dare say something about what impacted your life so much in 2023.
See, my family, they they were so very supportive this year, and they they have been encouraging. They really encourage me with their words. They always look out for me.
Okay, the bottom line is Sife is not living in Nigeria. Sife is not living in Nigeria. Is the what she's saying is she's so covered and so pampered and so cottoned up by our family that all the wahala of Nigeria just washed past her. Good for you. I hope I have your I hope you have your state of mind and not be blissfully unaware of the chaos that we have been facing through. That's good. So Alex, what's your second major event?
Yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know whether to call it cynical. You know, when you're trained as a journalist, you become a natural cynic because you tend to seek balance and evidence in everything you hear. I would say maybe the Plateau killings and perhaps the Supreme Court judgment over the presidential election. Now,
Hmm.
even though they went by the rule of what Bosun would call substantial compliance, you know, saying the candidate that won satisfied most of the conditions, I find it odd that out of all the issues that were tabled at the court couldn't even find one in which they found the individual in question to be guilty. I mean, it blew my mind. I'm not saying he didn't win the election, neither am I saying he did not comply substantially with the conditions. But what I'm saying is a lot of the issues that were raised, if you see the counts and the number of issues, are we saying that not one of them could be tabled as being a point of the individual being wrong? You know, now the fallout from that is people have now begun to question the court itself. I mean, I've asked Bosun this question over and over. Are we saying that our courts are political, like they should be? Or have they just become part of the politics in the nation? You know, the question arises when you see judgments like that.
And also the optic of a Supreme Court, the head of the Supreme Court, uh, having his son or thereabout being called to the high bar, and his cousin or something like that being secretary of the NJC that he chairs. You know, some of these appointments, even if it is meritorious, the timing and the circumstance, we're considering the general sense of perception of injustice or disbelief of its impartiality. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. We shouldn't have people associating you to being supposedly influencing your son's um, elevation in the court of in the court. I mean, what do you call it? In the
On the
space of
bench.
justice.
Yeah, the
You're on the
bench.
bench, even if you didn't have any hand in it. It is just so wrong, you know. And this is part of the fear or the perception of people that our justice system is a little bit tawdry, so to speak, you know.
Yeah.
But for
The,
me,
the question now
yeah,
arises, can we still see the judiciary as the last hope for the common man? That's the question.
even even for the uncommon, for the one that is uncommon, the one that is uncommon, is it his last his last hope? You know, it's a bit disheartening that there is no trust between the populace and the judiciary, and it should not be so. Even if the judiciary are correct in their estimations and judgments and all that, the perception is key.
Yeah.
Life is about perception. If you don't trust what's coming out of someone, you're not likely to receive it, even if you are forced to. Your body language will show that you have no regard for this. And when we begin to have no regard for what comes out of our justice system, it's the end of the nation as it is. So a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. For
Yeah.
me, for me, one of the most profound impact I believe, I mean, event that had impact on me is when what's it called? Godwin Emefiele before and after his I call it persecution. I don't think he's been properly persecuted.
I
They're
don't
just
think so
finding
either.
but the man did us wickedly. During that Naira, whatever I call it, the branding that I hear they want to now cancel and all that, we suffered so terribly. We
Yeah.
suffered so terribly because of what we now see as a political scheme to push one down or to get an upper hand over another. Why do we make even, Boston recounts the what happened to his mom. His mom who had money in the bank and had only like 100 naira, or she couldn't withdraw 1,000 naira for a retiree that has spent her life working for government, and then this same government has done in such a way that they are excusing her or preventing her from having access to her own money, and they could not feed. They were now People are now begging. People are falling down in banking halls. People are
People
exhibiting
actually
some kind of
died. I read some stories of people who
yeah,
died in
yeah.
queues. They died on the queue. You can imagine
People
someone
that
waiting 5 hours to cash 5,000 naira to get 5,000 naira.
yes, the number of people died. The number of people died, even at the point of the hospitalization. I heard about General, I think if I call General Hospital or something. Somebody died because they could not access funds to pay some, and our medical system don't let even start down. The medical system always hiding under one law or one regulation or the other. You know, but what the man did with that Naira redesign was treasonable. Now, to hear all these stories, true or false, from the special is it vigilator or investigator,
Investigator.
into his activities. So now here he has this, he has that. Of course, he has debunked a number of them. But if 10% of those things are true, ah, as a human being, I won't want to wish him anything evil. But man, the man dealt with us. It was terrible. It
Yeah.
was it was one of the most traumatic period in my life as a human being. It was frightening. It was frightening. You know. Well, let's take a break. Our guest is in the house. She's come from a long, long way. I want to talk about safety and security on our roads. We'll be back shortly.